Imagine turning off the universe. I do not mean closing your eyes. I mean shutting down the processor that creates your reality. At this precise moment, you believe you are sitting in an illuminated room, surrounded by solid objects, vibrant colors, and distinct sounds. But it is a lie. An elaborate, magnificent, controlled hallucination generated by 3 pounds of gelatinous matter protected by your skull. If we could bypass your brain and look at the world for what it truly is, you would recognize nothing. You would not see chairs, screens, or walls. You would not see light. You would not hear silence. You would find yourself submerged in a chaotic ocean of energy, a quantum soup where nothing possesses a defined shape until it interacts with something else. Today we are going to do something forbidden. We will turn off the filters of your perception, one by one. We will strip away the colors. We will strip away the sounds. We will strip away the sensation of touch. We will descend layer by layer until we touch the bare fabric of reality. Welcome to the real world. Let us begin with the most persistent illusion, color. Look at a red object near you, perhaps an apple or a piece of fabric. Your brain tells you that red is a property of that object, much like its weight or its shape. But in the physical universe, red does not exist. There is no red paint on the surface of matter. What is actually happening is a violent dance of photons. White light contains all the frequencies of the visible spectrum, and it strikes the surface of the object. The electrons within the atoms of that surface are hungry. They greedily absorb almost all the wavelengths. They devour the blue, the green, the yellow. The single frequency they reject, the one they spit away with disdain, is the one corresponding to 700 nanometers. Those rejected photons bounce back and strike your eyes. Red, therefore, is not what the object is. It is the only thing the object is not. It is what it has discarded. If we were to remove your eye and your brain from the equation, that object would not be red. It would merely be an agglomeration of colorless particles reflecting a specific frequency of electromagnetic waves into the silence of the void. But the situation is even more claustrophobic. Your eyes are incredibly limited sensors. Imagine that the entire spectrum of reality is a road stretching from Rome to New York. Your eyes can only see a few inches of that road. Everything else? To you, it is darkness, but it is not empty. If you could see radio waves, the sky would never be dark. It would shine constantly with pulsating signals, television broadcasts, and the cosmic background radiation of the Big Bang. If you could see gamma rays, the radioactive rocks deep underground would glow like burning embers. If you could see microwaves, you would witness the faint residual afterglow of the Big Bang in absolutely every direction. The real world is a blinding hurricane of visual information. Your brain has evolved blinders to protect you. It filters out 99.9% of reality so you do not go insane. It shows you only what you need to find food and avoid falling into a ravine. We live in a simplified simulation, a low-resolution version of a universe that is far too complex to be observed directly. And there is another cruel mockery regarding your vision. You never see the present. Never. Light takes time to travel. It is fast, certainly, but it is not instantaneous. The true delay, however, is not out there. It is inside you. When a photon strikes your retina, it must be converted into an electrochemical signal. This signal must travel along the optic nerve, reach the visual cortex, be processed, assembled into shapes and colors, and finally projected into your consciousness. This entire process requires about 80 milliseconds. Does that sound like a brief moment? In neural terms, it is an eternity. It means that you live constantly in the past. When you believe you are watching a ball being thrown to you in this exact instant, your brain is actually projecting a prediction of where that ball should be, simply to compensate for the delay. Your reality is a delayed broadcast. You are always inexorably lagging behind the universe. If the sun were to vanish right now, for you it would continue to shine for 8 minutes in the sky and for another 80 milliseconds in your mind. You are a time traveler eternally trapped in the past. Now try to touch something. The table, your arm, the screen. Do you feel that resistance? That reassuring solidity? That is an even greater lie than color. According to the laws of quantum physics, physical contact has never occurred in the entire history of the universe. Atoms are mostly made of empty space, but they are surrounded by clouds of negatively charged electrons. And as you know, like charges repel. When you bring your finger close to the screen, the electrons of your skin and those of the glass begin to push each other away with a tremendous force. What you call the sensation of touch is in reality the perception of this electromagnetic repulsive force. You are literally levitating a nanometer away from every single object you believe you are touching. You have never sat in a chair in your entire life. You have always hovered above it, supported by an invisible cushion of quantum forces. If atoms were neutral, if this force did not exist, your hand would pass through the table just as a ghost passes through a wall. Solidity is nothing more than a very stubborn force field. Let us move on to hearing. If a tree falls in a forest and no one hears it, does it make a sound? The scientific answer is no. It creates vibrations, certainly. It creates pressure waves that propagate through the air. But sound is a psychological experience, not a physical one. The universe in and of itself is totally, frighteningly silent. Sound waves are merely molecules of air crashing into one another, like billiard balls in a chain reaction. There is no music in the air, only variations in barometric pressure. It is your ear that transforms these mechanical collisions into electrical signals, and your brain that decides to interpret those signals as the voice of a loved one or the rumble of thunder. In empty space, where there is no air to carry these waves, you can detonate a star, you can collide two black holes, and there will not be so much as a whisper. Without an atmosphere and without a brain, the universe is a silent film, an eternal pantomime of destruction and creation taking place in the most absolute silence. We have stripped away sight, touch, and hearing. What remains of matter? If you were to look at your own body with an omnipotent microscope, you would see something staggering. You are not solid. You are made of atoms, and atoms are almost entirely empty space. Imagine the nucleus of an atom as a small marble placed directly in the center of a city square. The electrons, which define the boundary of the atom, would orbit far away, well beyond the outskirts of the city. All the space in between? Empty, nothingness. If we were to remove all the empty space present within the atoms that make up every human being on Earth, the entire human race, all 8 billion of us, would be reduced to the volume of a single sugar cube. A sugar cube that would weigh as much as a mountain, but a sugar cube nonetheless. Everything you consider to be you, your hands, your heart, your brain, is a rarefied ghost, a fog of particles dispersed into an abyss of nothingness. Density is an illusion. Matter is a rare exception in a universe dominated by the void. And what of heat and cold? Do you feel the air against your skin? This too is an interpretation. In the universe, heat does not exist. There is only kinetic energy, atoms vibrating. When you touch a cup of boiling hot coffee, you are not feeling heat. You are feeling billions of water molecules vibrating furiously and slamming against the atoms of your skin, transferring their frenzy to your nerves. Cold is nothing more than the absence of this vibration, an atomic quiet. Your brain takes this scale of molecular agitation and assigns it sensory labels. Pleasant, burning, freezing. But a thermometer feels nothing. An atom feels nothing. It is merely movement, velocity, and collisions. Without your brain to translate it, a blazing fire is not hot, and a glacier is not cold. They are merely different states of kinetic excitation in an indifferent universe. Where do we truly live then? If the external world possesses no colors, sounds, or temperatures, what exactly is our experience? The answer is found inside a sealed, bony box, your skull. Your brain lives in absolute darkness and total silence. It has never seen the light of the sun. It has never felt the wind. It receives only electrical impulses, binary codes, clicks and discharges. And from this raw, barren data, entirely devoid of intrinsic meaning, your brain weaves an incredibly detailed three-dimensional hologram that you call reality. It is like a prisoner in a dark cell who draws marvelous landscapes based solely on Morse code messages tapping through the wall. What you see is not the world. It is a model of the world, a map useful for survival, not a truthful representation. Evolution did not design us to see the truth. It designed us to see whatever is necessary to avoid being eaten. Truth is a luxury that our operating system simply cannot afford. But if we remove the brain, if we remove the observer, what remains? What is out there when no one is looking? Modern physics gives us an answer that makes the mind real. There are no things. There are no solid particles bouncing around like tennis balls. There are only fields. Imagine the universe as an infinite ocean of overlapping fluids. There is the electromagnetic field, the electron field, the quark field. What we call a particle is merely a momentary ripple within these fields, a spike in energy, like a wave rising from the ocean and then falling back down. You are not made of solid matter. You are a complex and persistent wave moving through these quantum fields. You are an event, not an object, a process, not a thing. The chair, the table, the air, and you yourself, you are all made of the exact same fundamental, vibrating, continuous substance. The boundaries between you and the rest of the universe are an arbitrary illusion drawn entirely by your mind. We have reached the bottom. We have stripped away the senses, matter, and separation. The final idol remains to be torn down. Time. For you, time flows. The past is gone. The future does not exist. But for the physical universe, this distinction may not exist at all. In the fundamental equations of physics, time does not flow. It is just another coordinate, exactly like space. Imagine the universe not as a film that changes frame by frame, but as a solid block of ice where everything is already present. The beginning, the end, your birth, your death, everything exists simultaneously in an eternal, four-dimensional now. Your limited brain illuminates one slice of this block at a time, creating the illusion of movement, of becoming. But if you could step outside your brain and observe the universe from the outside, you would see your entire life stretched out like a motionless serpent within space-time. You would see every single instant existing forever. Death would not be the end, but merely a boundary of that structure. In the world without a brain, there is no waiting, there is no rushing, there is no loss. There is only being. It is a frightening place, is it not? A universe without light, without sound, without time, made solely of abstract fields and mathematical probabilities, a cold and impersonal abyss. But here is the final paradox. It is precisely from this abyss that beauty emerges. Your brain is not lying to you in order to deceive you. It is lying to you to give you a home. It takes the quantum chaos and paints it with the colors of the rainbow. It takes the vibrations of the air and transforms them into Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. It takes electromagnetic repulsion and turns it into the caress of a mother. The illusion is not a mistake. It is the greatest masterpiece in the universe. We are the only way the cosmos has to know itself, to transform its cold mathematics into experience, into emotion, into life. Without your brain, the universe exists, yes, but it has no meaning. You are the creator of meaning. You are the projector that ignites the film of reality. So when you open your eyes again at the end of this video, do not look at the world as a fake simulation. Look at it as an artistic creation happening in real time, just for you. This is Unseenium, and this is our wonderful, necessary illusion. Subscribe to keep exploring the incredible architecture of reality.